is exactly 1:43 a.m., and I come to you today to tell you that there is something weird going on with US propaganda. Actually, there kind of has been for the past 10 years, but for some reason, I'm not really seeing anybody talk about it. To be honest, I have written this script out probably a dozen times now over the past 6 months, and I just have not worked up the balls to make this video, which is why I'm doing it now unscripted. So, forgive me if any of this sounds insane. Obviously, I don't consider myself to be an expert about propaganda in any way. I just am really passionate about media literacy. See, in the past 10 years, propaganda has changed in a very interesting and also dangerous way here in the United States of America. But although we are in a weird and precarious situation, there are a lot of ways that we can fight back against a new kind of propaganda that we haven't really seen in the US before this. So let me explain what the kind of propaganda is, why it relates to the fact that this is an art channel, and how we can fight back against this new kind of propaganda. You may be thinking to yourself, wow, this chick has purple hair. This is probably a very partisan video. It's not. This video is for literally everyone. No matter who you are watching this video, I want you to know that this channel is about increasing media literacy. It's about getting you interested in art and learning more about the world. And so, I don't really care if you think that you've never fallen for propaganda in your entire life. If you think that, this video is probably for you. And if you're wondering why I'm talking about this on an art history channel in particular, art and propaganda have been intertwined since almost the beginning of art itself. As an example, a lot of modern art that you may know of, like Jackson Pollock, was sponsored by the CIA as a form of propaganda. If you didn't know that, and you want a full video about it, why don't you throw a comment down below? It is a crazy thing, I will tell ya. Also, any propaganda experts, leave comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Back to propaganda in a bit, but first a very unusual and special sponsored message. Do you desperately need something to distract you from the chaotic times that we live in? Perhaps a healthy coping mechanism to keep you from just doom scrolling for hours every day? You should learn a musical instrument. Why? Well, how about all these reasons? It's like the reverse of one of those big pharma commercials. Oh my gosh. Today's sponsor is a small business called Little House Lessons that wants to help you learn how to play an instrument. Little House Lessons is run by this guy, Ian. He's a professional musician and songwriter whose music is featured in no less than 35 TV shows and over 1,400 episodes. And he can teach you how to play piano, guitar, bass guitar, mandolin, banjo, ukulele, pretty much anything that you can strum. He can also help you learn music theory, ear training, home recording, music production, and even composing if you're into that. And because Ian teaches remotely, you can learn from literally anywhere around the globe. I've been learning to play the ukulele with Ian, and it has been so much fun. I'm obviously still a beginner, but I have learned a ton in the past few weeks. I'm even learning how to write my own music. Not as any sort of weird career change, just for fun. If you want to hear that, stay until the end of the video. The first 30 people to sign up using this link in the description below get 2 free 30-minute lessons or 1 free 60-minute lesson on the house. Little House. Sorry, that sucked. To start you on your musical learning journey. No strings attached. No commitments required. So if you want to start learning music today, click the link in my description, scan this QR code, or visit littlehouselessons.com/Bekah to start learning today. Thanks so much for listening, and now back to propaganda. Have you ever heard about the Firehose of Falsehood? It's going on in the USA right now, and it's one of the most dangerous and exhausting forms of propaganda to be immersed in. But you don't hear it talked about very much. So let's talk about this weird kind of propaganda, what it is, what it looks like, and how to fight back against it. But first, a super quick review of what is and what is not propaganda. Propaganda is information presented to you in a way that is misleading or emotionally charged in order to try and shape your perception of a situation in order to serve a certain agenda. In other words, it's basically just how information is dressed up to make you see it a certain way. A couple important points about propaganda. Number one, it relies on emotions, not facts. It may use facts, but its main driving force is emotion, especially emotions like fear, hatred, pride. And number two, it filters the information so that you don't get the full narrative, just the part that serves a certain ideology or narrative. Number three, it's repetitive. You'll see it more than once. Propaganda is not objective facts. Objective, unbiased reporting of said objective facts. Reasonable arguments based on logic and objective fact. Any persuasive art that exists, not all persuasive art or media is inherently propaganda. Now for a little test. Which of these is not propaganda? Drum roll, please, because, yeah, it's none of them. They're actually all propaganda. Every single one of them. Oops, all propaganda. Now, if you picked the graph because you thought, oh, it's a graph, it's probably portraying some sort of reality or objective fact, that's where they get you, because this graph is flipped upside down, and a lot of things that are portrayed as just easy to understand facts are actually being portrayed in a deceitful light. So you need to be careful with stuff like that, even if it seems reputable. A great example of how supposedly straightforward data can be manipulated and made to look like different things. If you go on flowingdata.com, you'll see a lot of interesting charts. Now, there's a couple interesting things to keep in mind with propaganda as well. Number one, propaganda can be created by anyone. It's not just created by the government entity itself. It is created by news and media groups, departments of the government, entertainment, TV shows and different sources of media, Facebook groups, Instagram pages. Anybody can create propaganda. And also, propaganda is not inherently negative. I hope that we can all agree that starting a forest fire is not a good thing, usually. Despite the fact that Smokey the Bear is definitely a character from propaganda, I would say that in general, it is a good thing to discourage people from starting forest fires and teaching people about fire safety, even if there is an element of guilt in the messaging. Now that we've covered propaganda in general, it's time to go on to the Firehose of Falsehood, also called flooding the zone or new Russian propaganda, is an unusual and extremely effective form of propaganda that was said to be inspired by Cold War propaganda techniques. We first saw it in Russia around 20 years ago, and then in the US around 10 years ago, rapidly increasing since around the 2016 elections. Here's how it works. Firehose propaganda has 4 main points that it works towards to try and confuse and overwhelm you. Number one is to destroy the idea of objective truth, or make you just not care about what the truth is. And it does this by creating confusion by releasing just an absolutely insane volume of information and media in the form of newscasts and posts and podcasts and press conferences and yada yada yada. A ton of different things and so much information. It's essentially creating too much information. You would not be able to keep up with all of it unless you were doing it for like multiple hours every day. And when there's that much information, it makes it very difficult to fact check what you're hearing. The posts and the things can be true, untrue, or a combination of both, or much more often a combination of shades of gray, where some of it's true and some of it's untrue and some of it is sort of true but not really. And it just creates a sense of mass confusion and disillusionment where you're not really arguing about how the truth is being presented, you're more arguing about like what even happened in the first place. And when the media is presented in this endless, contradictory flow of information, it gets to the point where people develop a sense of apathy because it just becomes exhausting. And it's hard not to get cynical, because everyone assumes that people who are saying what they don't want to hear are lying, and therefore they stop looking for the truth because it just gets too exhausting. It's too much work. And that kind of brings us to our second point, which is to overwhelm and distract you, make you so confused that you don't know what's going on. When you have several sources that are actually doing credible reporting, but they're lost in hundreds of nonsense sources, it's easy to drown out the truth with a bunch of nonsense. And with the rise of social media, it's easy to rapidly spread both real information and false information, depending on what you're looking for. And when you have a bunch of sources all repeating the same information, whether it's true or not, it increases the credibility of anything that's being said, whether it's true or not. The third is take advantage of cognitive biases, aka to manipulate your emotions and feelings. And this kind of goes back to the idea of increasing the credibility of a source through repetition, through a bunch of different posts and newscasts and stuff like that. The idea is that repeated exposure makes you accept something as true even when it is not. The other thing is that it really draws on tribalism. A lot of the messages that Firehose propaganda works with is reliant on trying to create both a sense of the other, they're not like us, they are the other, they are dangerous, we need to kick them out, and also they focus on strong emotions like national pride or fear or anger, because negative emotions make something more likely to be passed on than positive emotions do. And the fourth section is basically just becoming all-consuming. Unlike traditional propaganda, it's not important that Firehose propaganda has any sort of consistency to it. The constant web of contradictions becomes a feature, not a bug, because it just creates a cloud that confuses and distracts you from what's really important. It also relies heavily on modes of propaganda that are really quick and easy to reproduce, so that as much volume can be put out as possible. So in summary, Firehose propaganda is all over the place, in a lot of different medias. It is rapid, continuous, and repetitive. It lacks commitment to objective reality, and it lacks commitment to consistency. Where do we see this a ton? It's AI, folks. Not just AI images in general, but also like AI art. And we've seen this consistently in things like meme posts and edits that both media outlets and even the White House has reposted and retweeted and all of these different things. The thing about AI art is that it's almost effortless to make and ridiculously easy to make something that is going to spread like wildfire, because if you want to make something that's really clickbaity and effective visually, you can do it in like 20 seconds. You don't need prize-winning photographer when you can just make the prize-winning photo and it doesn't have to be real. It just has to be interesting. And the unfortunate reality is that it can take longer to fact-check a piece of AI art or an AI-generated photo than it takes to literally make it and post it. It's added a lot to this absolute like flood of information that's coming in. To be honest, I really resonate with the people that tell me that they have shut off all news and all media outlets that have anything to do with politics right now, because I recognize how exhausting it is to try and keep up with this. It's kind of the point. But I want you to know, if you're watching this video, that there are actually ways that we can combat the spread of this kind of propaganda. The first is just to know that it's coming and to know that it is propaganda. Being able to have the foresight to think to yourself, information should not be taken at face value during this time, especially when there's so much AI and false information out there on the internet, coming from both sides. Number two, make yourself more media literate. There's a lot of ways to do this. I would highly recommend some videos. I will show a couple right here, but also I will try and link them down in the description of how you can tell, number one, if something is AI, but number two, if something is propaganda. I said it a little bit earlier, but what could the motivations behind a piece of media that you're viewing be? What is it trying to convince you to do? Is it trying to convince you to do something at all? If it is, then it could be propaganda. Number 3? Number whatever this is, fact check everything. If you saw an article and your only source is X or TikTok or Blue Sky or Facebook, that is not a reputable source. If you have a piece of information and you want to share it around, you should make sure that it is coming from multiple sources that have some sort of .edu or come from a reputable, unbiased news source. I'm not talking about left-leaning or right-leaning. I'm just talking about a news source that is known to not consistently spread misinformation. The next one is don't try and turn off the fire hose from its source. Try and point your own fire hose. Wow, this is starting to sound like something suggestive. Try and redirect the direction of the flow of information. This is not making any sense. Let me explain this in a better term. If you have a lot of information that is attacking the idea of, say, community, it's trying to make you hate your neighbors or look at the people around you with suspicion. Try and reinforce the idea of community where you live. Meet with them and talk with them and figure out what they're all about. Or if something is challenging the idea of democracy, do everything that you can to spread messages that uphold the idea of democracy. I guess what I'm trying to really get at here is that I am frustrated at the state of things right now in a lot of ways. I think that it's fair to say that most of us are. And no matter who you are watching this video, you are not immune to propaganda. I think that there's this element of, I'm on the right side, so I am not falling prey to propaganda. But it's just not true. We're all falling for it all the time. And if you don't think you are, you probably should increase your media literacy. Wow, that sounded really pretentious. I don't mean it to be, I promise. I just feel like it's such an important time for people to know what the heck they're actually looking at. In short, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thanks for watching this video. It is now 2:23. There's probably a lot of this that has gotten cut out because it didn't make any sense. If you would like to stick around and hear me sing a silly little song because I've been learning how to play the ukulele, feel free to. And if not, thank you so much to my patrons. I really appreciate you. Thank you to Little House Lessons for sponsoring this video. Check them out. They are absolutely incredible. And thanks for watching. Stay safe out there and don't die. I'll see you in the next video. Next week, back to your regularly scheduled content. We have a lot of really fun videos coming up in May that I promise are way more fun.
3:28 a.m.
Uncle Sam says plant a garden. Uncle Sam helps open doors. Uncle Sam says save your quarters. Uncle Sam says go to war. Loose lips sink ships, that much is true. But so does an exhausted crew that doesn't know what else to do but block out all the noise. Excruciated by the blast, exhausted by the upper cast, we shut our eyes and clench our ass and hope we make it through. of noise. Excruciated by the blast, exhausted by the upper cast, we shut our eyes and clench our ass and hope we make it through. If uncle's what you're called, then maybe you're the uncle that I avoided every barbecue 'cause of your stupid head. Forget about your stories about Nam. Those incompetent cowards murdered all those school kids in Iran. Uncle Sam is not your uncle. Uncle Sam won't pump your gas. Uncle Sam won't make you safer. Uncle Sam won't give you cash. Uncle Sam is not your uncle. Uncle Sam is not your friend. Uncle Sam just wants your money. Uncle Sam just wants you dead. Loose lips sink ships, that much is true. Lips are made for shouting too. So now it's time for me and you to raise a lot of noise. If we hold tight and we work fast, we can still knock Uncle on his ass. So grab your pitchforks, grab your flask. Let's hope we make it through. Uncle Sam is not your uncle. Uncle Sam is not your friend. I think that was it, boys. It is what it is. Let's go!